So what I want to discuss next are CJ's social skills. And I want to talk about two environments in which CJ has to deal with on a pretty much regular basis. The first being when we're at home and when we have visitors over. So typically if CJ's in the living room and he's engaging in normal day-to-day activities, if we have a visitor who comes over, and this may be a visitor that he's seen on a pretty consistent basis, or maybe somebody for the first time, he pretty much reacts in the same way. He will go to his room and retreat from the situation. If the visitor tries to go in his room to talk to him or engage him in any way, he will move from that room, or either he will cover his ears and kind of hover in his bed and not really make eye contact with the person or acknowledge the person. Sometimes he'll even, before they can even get to the door, the room, he will close the door. So those are some things that CJ does when he's faced with a social setting, even in the comfort of his own home. The other situation is when we're out in public. So if we go to the grocery store or just anywhere where there's pretty much a lot of people maybe around, then CJ, we have to keep a close eye on CJ. We most times will hold his hand. If I'm at the grocery store, I will have him hold the cart and push the cart, and I will assist him from behind so that way he can escape, because CJ also elopes. So eloping means that he will just wander off and go in any direction that he chooses. And if you're not keeping a close eye on him, you will lose track of him. Another place that he elopes is in the classroom. So now his teachers know that they cannot position CJ close to the door. A lot of times when he was younger, they would put a safety gate in front of the classroom door. That way CJ would not walk out, because if the teachers were, talking to another staff member or dealing with another kid, CJ would just wander off outside of the classroom and they wouldn't be able to find him, and then someone would have to go out and look for him. So those are typical scenarios for CJ, in which when he's placed out in the public or in a normal day-to-day environment, or even in the comfort of his own home, we have to really keep a close eye on him, make sure he doesn't elope. When he's at home, we have to make sure that he feels comfortable. You cannot force communication with him. You cannot force interaction. What will happen, as explained in a previous video, he will begin to become aggressive. So if you get too close, he will, he'll be liable to either reach out and pull your hair or push you out of the room. He may even, if I'm around, then he'll display some of his aggression towards me because I'm allowing this person to be in his space. What's funny is CJ doesn't like a lot of people in his personal space. However, when CJ's interacting with others, who are comfortable to him and familiar, such as me or his brother and sister, or my mom, for instance, he doesn't know what personal space is, so he gets really close to you, almost in your face. He will even sit on your lap, and he's 11 years old. He's getting to be a pretty big boy, even though he's small typically for his age, but pretty big boy, pretty heavy now. And he'll sit on your lap, he'll grab your face to bring it closer. So it's kind of odd, because you would think that he would want distance even with familiar people, but he doesn't. That's the way he differentiates the familiar from the unfamiliar. And like I said, even with family members that have been over, for holidays and come over to visit, and he's seen them hundreds of times, he still retreats to his room. That's just a standard thing that he does. These are some things you may be faced with when raising a child with special needs, or for family members and friends of families with special needs children, just some things you should be aware of. So, if they let you know that he's not a social kid or she's not a social kid, respect those boundaries. You may want to take it a step at a time in getting to know that child. Don't force interaction, especially because you want them to eventually get comfortable with you. And by being pushy and aggressive with it, it's only going to cause them to shy away even more. So take baby steps when you're getting to know a child with special needs, especially if you know they have social issues. Take it one day at a time and just respect their boundaries. I hope to do a part 2 of this video because I do want to show you CJ in a social setting, such as the grocery store. So stay tuned for a follow-up of this video, and we'll be back with our next topic, which will be self-care. Bye. See you later.